Hello, everybody. It's Geeks Assembled, and it's classic Who time. And today we will be discussing a 1985 story by Colin Baker. And as Susan is showing you, and everybody's background there, it's Vengeance on Varos. Written by Philip Martin, and his creation of the slug-like Syl, played by Nabil Shaban. Yeah, there it is there. So we're going to go around these guys here, opening thoughts on this this story, and then we'll go into we'll start discussing everything else. So I'm going to go to. We'll go to Harry first, our librarian. Harry, over to you.
Varos, in my opinion, is a good story. It's well done. It's the only drawback I would have to say is, and I'm not trying to be critical about it because I did enjoy the show, is all the comments about the way the deaths were, all the death is during the Colin Baker era. A lot of screaming about that because of the fact that you had Eric Sayward and John Nathan Turner trying to, in a sense, push the envelope, take it away from the old kids' view, make it a little bit more adult. And unfortunately, it backfired. As we've mentioned in Trial of a Time Lord, it did not, the whole idea didn't work. But in my opinion, Varos is a good story. It's well done. It's got some interesting points to it, especially with the fact that you've got a little insight into the Tardis itself with this story. So that's my point of view on it. I want to hear what the others have got to say on it.
Thanks, Harry. Yeah, I'd like to hear what the others have got to say, as long as it's sensible stuff I've got to say. Because if it's nonsensible stuff, I'll be kicking them. I'm not looking at Jake. Well, yes, I am. Jake. Hey. Over to you, Jake and Bradley.
This is one of my favourite Doctor Who stories of all time. It's probably my favourite Colin story. It is so dark and gritty, and it really fits the atmosphere of like the episode as a whole. And it sort of mirrored what's happening now with like our politics and everything. It reminded me of, I was watching it and I said to Bradley, this is like Brexit. Everyone's saying, should we do that or shouldn't we do that? And then they want to kill everyone. It's stupid. But Syl, the villain of the story, has to be one of the most underrated villains of Doctor Who ever. He's so sinister and he embodies like a corrupt politician or businessman. And he's so creepy. And he's so childish. He's just superb. What do you think about it?
Okay, so I like Vengeance on Varos. I like the sort of dystopian society aspect to it. It's like quite a sort of dark future. Like Jake said, Syl was a really good villain. And one thing I'll say, Colin, you can tell he's sort of still finding his feet at this point.
Yeah. What did you say? Yeah.
Right. Thanks, guys. Well, I'll come back to you later on as well. Who shall we go to now? Choices. Oh, go on then, Alid.
Well, you got Syl, Benidorm, and a bit of bondage. What more can you ask for?
And that's it.
I mean, yeah,
okay.
That's it. Sums it up, really, doesn't it?
Right, we'll move on to the next people, shall we? Are you going to say any more?
No, that's it.
Okay, right, okay.
I mean, it's only opening thoughts. I'll give you more later. I'm just teasing you. I've got to tease you, Lee. Tease you into it.
You're never going to tease me. We'll go to the love seat.
Ooh. This is our second love seat. Second.
No, we're the first.
The original,
first,
yeah.
We're the original, you might say. Let's see. Vengeance on Varos was a little bondage and moisture. He was the first one. He was the first moisturized me.
What are you doing?
You know, he was. Syl was amazing. The Sixth Doctor was really engaging and fun to watch. Super fun to watch. he was compassionate to the plight of the poor and the downtrodden, which was good. And there was a lot of sort of amusing ourselves to death. Talk a little bit about that in this one book that I read in film school. And yeah, it was super super. I like what Jake said. Super gritty. It's a good word for what it was. It was brutal and rough around the edges, and gritty is a good word for that. And with that, here's Alex.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this. I enjoy it like 95% of the time that I see it. It's too bad they couldn't have had a better, bigger budget, but you can see what they were trying to do. And as usual, that's the nice thing about classic Doctor Who. Sets up a good plot. You got a couple of good villains. The only problem is they don't have the best budget. But even so, it's still a very creepy idea. And of course, you have the reality of, I think you guys call it the video nasties, or as we like to call it, reality TV. At least in the reality TV, though, at least in this world, once they're dead, they're dead. They don't come back for 5 reality TV sequels. So Syl is a great character. It's a shame that they only brought him back one more time. I guess he's been in the audio. He has his own video. He's getting up there. I think he's about, what, 71 or whatever?
Well, he recently had that thing, didn't he? That,
yeah, and a wedding as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, he recently got married as well. They
he?
do need to bring him back in an actual TV episode.
Agreed.
The bald guy's kind of fun, too. The governor is interesting because, in a way, he's playing both sides. I know in the book, Peri wasn't as scared as she was in the TV version. It's also an interesting idea. You can be the leader, but you have to die if you don't make us happy. I wonder how many people would sign up for that. And of course, unfortunately, politically, it is kind of right wing. I know a lot of people that don't like the couple, but it's still an interesting thought. Yeah. That they don't realize that when they're not working, they're kind of invalids, they're kind of weaklings. And at the same point, they're very mean and nasty to each other. So that's kind of interesting, especially with the unfortunate Western culture now that is very similar to this and has been for a while, especially with the reality TV. So I don't know. I would have liked 15 more minutes to this, and if they could have done it with $1 million budget, I think it would have been great. Mind Warp is good as well. That's kind of the sequel, and that's a little different to this one. But yeah, I mean, this is one of the best Colin Baker televised episodes. The audios are much better, but this is one of the best televised episodes.
Thanks for that, you guys. Well, what did I think of it? It was crap. No,
just like the Sea Devils.
No, good ideas. It was good ideas. As it's been said about the budget, you can see there's no budget there. Brilliant character villain. Syl is just brilliantly done. Pitchy's costume was awful. You could see under his mask. You could see under his neckline. His second costume in the next season was far better. Colin Baker, he's still trying to find his feet in this. You can understand why people didn't warm to him. And as Alex has said, this is well ahead of its time because this was before reality TV became big and real. It's also got a take on the 1984 Big Brother sort of feel to it. I don't know. It's just it promises a lot, but it just doesn't deliver. For me personally, I'm not keen on these studio bound stories, because you can tell it's a studio bound. You know, the same sets used from other stories, just repainted. You can tell this is what Doctor Who used to do, and they used to borrow sets from Blake Seven and stuff like that, and vice versa. So, but yeah, it's good premise of a story, but for me, it just didn't, visually and all that, it didn't do it for me. But that's my opening thought. So we'll go into in depth now. Favourite moments and things you didn't like. So we'll mix up. We'll go to Jake and Bradley.
I'm going to disagree with Lee first off. I much prefer Syl's costume in this story than I do in Mindwarp, because it looks more alive than what he does in Mindwarp. He looks all shiny and glistening, and he looks more bit more rubbery in Mindwarp. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah. And my favourite moment is when you first get introduced to Syl, and there's a scene between him, the governor, and that bald bloke when he talks about, are these really disturbing, the videos that you sell? I love it. There's something about him that makes him such a good villain that'd be perfect to be brought back like to the new series because of what's going on in the real world. But yeah, my least favourite moment, oh Christ, don't think I had any. The green lights are a bit crap at the end of the dark hallway, but whatever floats your boat in that one. What was your favourite moments and least favourite moments?
Okay, I'll start off with my least favourite moment first. My least favourite moment, honestly, is the couple. And
Really?
yeah, I mean, I get why it's there, but I sort of think it distracts a little bit from.
I think it helps because it's such a dark and gritty story. You have them to like make it a bit more light-hearted, them taking out a piss out of each other, sort of thing. That's your opinion. Carry on.
It's the right opinion. And my favourite bit, I sort of like the interactions between the Sixth Doctor and Peri. I know he's quite abrasive to her, but I still sort of quite like their interactions in this.
Is that it?
Mm.
Right then.
Thanks, guys. Harry, over to you.
Well, as far as my view of it, if there's any one thing I had to complain about with the show, it's a two-part episode, and that's what most of the Colin Baker stories were 2 parts during his first season, except for one 3-parter, is that they make too much out of the deaths. I know that's the way they do things on Varos, that you vote on how things are supposed to be done. Governor gets executed, you get a new person as governor. You got to figure out new ways to entertain the masses with these TV stuff, which is part of the plot that they set this up with. But the main thing I've got is these unusual ways of killing people, especially toward the end with the acid pits, the vines. I mean, that's what got so many complaints about this story with the public and the BBC. Especially with the brass at the time, they were just not happy. They felt it was pushing it too far, too much away from what classic Doctor Who was supposed to have been. They were not happy with all the way deaths were done at all. So many dead bodies and everything lying around. Personally, I'd have to say may have been that way, but you gotta remember, this is not Earth. This is not terra firma. This is a whole new alien world. And what goes on, what may be normal on Earth, is not going to be the same in another planet. So you got to understand that. This is science fiction, for goodness sakes. At least it's supposed to be science fiction.
Yeah, you're right there, Harry. It's science fiction. Thanks for that. Alid.
Well, I know the story is really well liked. Well, for the Colin Baker era anyway. But for me, it's not. I agree more with Lee. It's a good story, but it's not a great story. It's a good idea and a good concept, and some of it works. A lot of it does work, and the cliffhangers, some of them are very good. you know, when you think the Doctor's dead and that. But the episode is, for me, it's too studio bound, which is a big issue because you can tell it's a studio, and it does take away from it. It's a bit like the Happiness Patrol. It would have been a million times better if it was a location somewhere or something like that. But it's completely studio bound, and it's a bit too dark and gloomy. There's not much color to it. But still, I love. Still is the best thing about this episode throughout the whole thing. And I think he has the best moments overall. And but I don't think he should come back, as Alex and Susan said. Shouldn't come back. No.
Oh, see Susan's face then.
Sorry. Shouldn't come back.
Oh dear.
Oh, Alad.
Let's see what Susan's reaction is to that then. Over to you.
Yeah. Okay, well, I totally disagree with you, Alad. I think that still totally should come back because of two things. First of all, the actor is really underused by the British film and television departments because of his just different abilities. Second reason that I want him back is because the character has the most amazing evolution of any evolution on TV.
Okay, Jay, get ready.
Wait there. If you want to bring a classic villain back, bring back Tegan and bring back the Mara.
Okay.
And make a third on screen. That would be perfect to bring back Tegan as well, a classic companion and a classic monster at the same time, and you could tie it in, and that would work really well.
Something sensible.
Yeah, you could make that work really well because there's a reason behind it. Then
well, there's always a reason. There's always a reason behind bringing somebody who's like.
No, but there's a reason to bring back the companion as well.
In the Star Trek universe, Alad, just wait and let me finish.
No.
In the Star Trek universe, they have the Ferengi, and the Ferengi started in.
No. We're not. This isn't Stargate or Star Trek or Star Wars or Star Bloody Galactica.
Okay, just stop talking. There is always a character or a race that is trying to sell the universe. Sill's race is trying to sell the universe. It is a super amazing science fiction trope.
The Safine did that. The Safine.
Okay, well the point is
Slovene.
Yeah,
Safine, yeah.
The Slovene isn't a race. It's a family.
Let's try.
No, listen, Alad.
I'm not listening.
And Christopher Ryan was the same in the same race that Sill was. I mean, these are great actors.
Yeah, they should be brought back.
Yeah, there we go.
But here it is. Have the Mara and Sill in the same.
Oh my god!
You get your W.
And let's have the Sea Devils, and let's have the Borad, and let's have.
No. That's not the same thing.
Better or whatever his name was.
Yeah, but they didn't talk at all.
Let's have the Chumleys back. Let's have the board back. Let's just have everything back and not have anything to do at all.
Can I have Mr. Sin back, please?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think that'll go down well, will it?
Let me say my favorite moments now. Okay.
No, we're moving on. Harry, what's
Oi.
Don't be a jerk. Alad, come on.
I'm only joking. Go on.
I love how Susan's taken my place of the Praxeus review.
Oh, really?
Okay, here's what I like about this. I really like that Owen Teale plays Maldak. Owen Teale is in Game of Thrones. He's in so much stuff recently. He was in the Torchwood episode that we just frickin' reviewed.
Is that the bald guy?
No, he's this one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the one. The cannibal story, was it?
The cannibal story in Countryside. Yeah, I mean, I was like, oh my God, it's him. I've just seen him and we've just reviewed him. Oh my gosh, how totally amazing. So there was a connection there. And I love Sheila Reed playing Etta. You know,
Oh, she came back.
yeah.
She was in Benidorm.
Did she play Clara's grandma?
She's still got the same laugh.
I know, it's true. And then Martin Jarvis as the governor, he was brilliant. And of course, Nabil Shaban, amazing as always. But you know, the beyond just the cast, I mean, they turned Peri into a bird. I mean, that was beautiful. I mean, she looks so stinking wonderful with all those feathers on her. I just thought, oh, why don't they just leave her that way? She'd be a beautiful bird, flying, you know, companion. I liked it. I liked the men in their tight leather with their straps and their, you know, torture. And Sean Connery's son, you know, on the wall.
Can I just say, if you like that, Susan, you should see some of Lee's videos.
All right. We're not talking about these videos here. We're talking about Vengeance on Varos, and these are amazing things that I have just rewatched. And I just wanted to say that I'm really glad that we're rewatching this. Here's Alex, and don't let Alan run you over.
Anyway, I like the. You have to admit the concept is very good. The villains are good. You've got sort of a very warped, very cruel society. Like I said, if they could have had the budget, I think this would have been great. You have Sean Connery's son in it. You also have a great cast in a way, if you really think about it. Sil is good. You could see why they brought him back for Mind Warp. Unfortunately, they didn't bring him back to the TV show otherwise, but he's in the audios. Again, it's very similar to, you know, the ends justifies the means. We can do whatever we want type of ambiance. So it's, you know, and it's good. They finally put in another villain that at the same point is very small, but boy, is he mean and terrifying. I mean, even when he's watching, you know, women getting tortured and you know, changed, he even has the nerve to say, oh, one of them's almost attractive, like he owns them. I'm like, what the hell, dude? You know?
I know.
So it does have a lot of good in it. They probably should have just upped the budget and edited a bit, and they probably would have had an even better story. But they had to change it, and this is the era where Colin Baker's villains are more nasty. He gets hurt. He, you know, they were trying to change the show from the Tom Baker and no relation and Peter Davidson year. But I think it would be good, actually, to have both Sil and the Mara in one story.
No.
And finally get that done. And with the effects they have now, I bet it really would look good.
All right, and I would just like to talk to you quickly about a book that I read in film school called Amusing Ourselves to Death. Oops, wait, there it is. Amusing Ourselves to Death.
Yeah.
And it's a story about how television changes things, and these people are being brainwashed, you know.
Everybody is, yeah.
Public discourse in the age of television, that the families that are sitting around watching these executions and these tortures, they're being desensitized, and they're being like brainwashed into thinking that this is normal behavior, much the way the situations with our national leadership and stuff are today. We are being as it's shown on Tully all the time. We are being brainwashed. I mean, it is Big Brother, as people have said in this cast, it is eerie, and so I just wanted to bring that up. Neil Postman wrote it. It's a good book.
Cool. Thanks for that, Susan. I think I've already said what I liked about it. This really, Bill is a brilliant character. Martin Jarvis is a brilliant actor as well as the governor. Things I didn't like, as I said, I'm studio bound. I mean, that little goat cat. I mean, that was the same as as it's been mentioned, the Happiness Patrol, the little goat cat.
Yeah.
You could see the actors was running slow, trying to act to run because it was moving that slow. Also, the fight scenes with I don't know the Sill's bodyguards with the execution, that was so pathetically done. I'm sorry. You could say that. You could see the way even touching them, and I'm thinking, no, you could have done another take. Do another take on that, please. Don't let that go for one year. Say Colin Baker. I've grown to love Colin Baker. He did get a bum deal playing the Doctor. His scripts were not that good for the TV series.
Agreed.
But what can you do? This is the past now. Yeah, you've got Sean Connery's son. Let's call him by his name, Jason. He's an actor in his own right, well known for Robin of Sherwood, of course.
Oh yes, quite right. We've reviewed that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a shame for me. It just doesn't gel too well, this story. You've got some brilliant elements. You've got some great themes, characters, but it just doesn't come together for me at the end of it. And for me, I don't think the 45-minute format worked for the classic era. They tried it for this season, and I don't think it works because you're only left with one cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Where we were used to having 3, say, cliffhangers.
Oh yeah.
Which I much prefer. 25-minute format, cliffhanger next week. So they had to spread it out, and then a cliffhanger at 45 minutes. Which nowadays in the new Who, what is it now, 50-minute episode, something like that.
Yep.
One episode, you don't really get a cliffhanger at the end of that episode if it's a one episoder. So cliffhangers in New Who are really non-existent sometimes. Yeah. This is for me this season when it first aired, I wasn't keen on this 45-minute thing. So, but that's what I think of it now. So shall we go around and score? If anybody got anything else to say? No? Okay then.
Get
Susan.
the
Oh yeah, get the book.
Always had the book, Lee. I mean, after all, I got the collection complete now.
Oh, in that case, is there any differences in the book, Harry?
There's a few minor points that come up that are different in the book, but just minor little things. But one of them is the fact that they mention in the book that this radiation is not the first time they've seen changes like this. This, like what happened to Peri and the other girl. Well, the miners seem to, as they're working in there and mining it, they've noticed this happens before. They change into creatures that seem to make it easier for them to dig up the ore. And that's something that's just a minor point, but still it's something that really wasn't mentioned in the TV episodes.
Cool. Who wrote the book, Harry? Is it the same?
Also written by Philip Martin. He did both this book and Mind Warp.
Yeah.
Since this was a time when you were getting the actual writers of the books to do the novelizations. The only reason Terrence Dicks did the first story in Trial of the Time Lord was because that was a Robert Holmes story. And it was always Terrence would do a Robert Holmes book.
Mm.
So that was the reason why there's only the one Terrence Dicks story in the entire Colin Baker era.
Right. So what would you give this story out of 10? The book and
the
program.
book a 7. I'd give the story a 6.5.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Right. We'll move over to. Let's see. Who should we go to now? Jake and Bradley. Go on then.
I will give this a 9. I thoroughly enjoyed this story.
I'll give this an 8. I said there's like a few little bits I didn't like, but I enjoyed it overall.
Thanks, guys. Go on then, Alid. I suppose I'll go to you.
What did I give it last time? I want to stay consistent.
You gave it 22 out of 10.
I'll give it a 2. No, I won't. I'll give it.
His middle name.
Out of the Colin Baker stories, it's definitely one of the better ones, but it's still not an amazing episode of Doctor Who. There's been many more episodes that are better than this, but for a Colin Baker story, it's pretty good. I think I'll give it a 7. I think
Cool.
that's pretty fair. Yeah.
Yes, fair enough, Scott. Right then, over to Susan and Alex.
All right. Well, I really like it. I really love Nabil. I really wish he was still on social media, because he's kind of stepped away from social media these days. After the success of Syl's return in The Devil's Seeds of Ardor, that was I haven't seen it yet. I can't wait to see it. But anyway, let's see. For the whole thing, I'll give it an 8 out of 10. It's pretty amusing to me, and I really like the fact that it's it kind of touches upon all those issues of being desensitized to violence and sort of brainwashed by the constant media, the 15-minute news cycle that this one is. This one's got like just a constant barrage of information and death and destruction to these people, and it changes their heads. So yeah, I'll give it an 8. Here's Alex.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've shown it to people, and even with the bad budget, it makes an effect. So I think this is the other thing about Classic Who, as they say, even in the books. What TV series does more with less? Doctor Who. Now, basically, you have miners. They have all these machines and rays and all these other things. So you kind of wonder about their global warming. They have tons of mining. They say in the story that they don't have anything else. So I really don't know what's going to happen when they run out of material or mineral or whatever. Even the Doctor was there because he had to take their mineral. What was it, Zyton 7 or whatever it was called?
Exactly.
Okay. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. It makes one think about the fact that they're sort of being barraged and programmed with their kill media. I know they had it in the Romans with the Colosseum and the gladiators and all that, but at least those people had swords. They weren't killed or chained up or hung or any of that stuff.
But they also didn't have it 24.
But we did used to
Right.
hang people.
I know,
But
but
they didn't have it.
We did used to have public killings. yeah.
anyway, what I'm saying is, people don't realize that this is a 24-hour marathon or 12-hour marathon, and that's not good all the time either. You could do the same thing with almost any other type of subject, true crime or whatever else. It's not good. And they don't seem to have anything else to do beside work and watch TV. And that's okay for a little while, or maybe that's okay for 5 years. But can you imagine living like that? You can't see a movie. You can't go outside. You can't. I mean, that's extremely myopic. That's extremely, and they don't even farm. So they're even eating processed food. So it's like, when I think about this all together, they're miners, they're in a drab atmosphere, they come home, they don't even go outside, they don't even watch anything except what the government tells them to watch. And they're watching it 12 hours a day, and they have to fill out diaries. and they get reported on. It's like, wow, talk about a
fabulous, doesn't it?
a regime of a regime. And then the governor is put in a chair to be killed when the vote doesn't go his way.
We should do that in here with the hosts.
That's quite an idea. I wonder if anybody would run for leading any country or colony or anything if they were going to get killed right away or killed the minute the vote doesn't go their way.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, this story's kind of nasty if you think about it. There's very little sunshine at all. There's no sunshine. It's very plastic.
No, it's all indoors.
Yeah, it's very plastic. Well, like I said, I wish I could give it a 10, but the budget, I'm going to give it an 8.5. But I mean, it is a very good idea, and if you think about it, it was quite ahead of its time. I mean, you've got people that are programmed, you got people that don't have any freedom, you've got people that are slaves to the TV. You've got only one commodity, this Zyton 7 metal.
It must be low on the periodic table.
Yeah, you've got processed food. You've got, a couple that's even informing on each other to the government. I mean, it's and then you got a governor who's willing to put themselves in a sort of an electric chair when the vote doesn't go his way. And I said, you can kind of see it. It's a regime. It's a very nasty regime.
Hurry up, Alex. I want to go to bed tonight.
Yeah, now you know why I quit to drink during these casts.
But
that was really insightful. I liked it.
Right. Also, as well, it hasn't been mentioned, but they had to have another Sharish Jack wannabe in this, which didn't work for me. Sharish Jack was a great success in Caves of Androzani, and this guy just didn't work. Overacting again. But for me, yeah, I've said what I don't like. I'm giving it a 7. It's not going to be a 10 for me. It's a 7. That's a good score from me. So, you guys here, thanks for discussing Vengeance and Varos. It's always a pleasure, when we gather here. You guys out there, let us know what you thought of this, what you thought of the cast members. Should we have public executions for Geeks Assembled? Because I can think of
I vote Jake.
I vote Alid.
Oh, hey.
Off of
Can I just pick up on something? Did you just call Cher a guy?
Oh.
Cher.
Wow, what did I say?
You said guys. There's not guys watching this.
You guys.
No, you didn't.
What?
Said to the audience.
Oh, God.
There's only one person watching this, and we know her name.
Here we go. We're going down this route again, are we?
And it's Cher. You've seen her.
Well, I watch it, but you can call me you guys because so that's just how you. If you're an American, that's how you mean like a group of people. You call them you guys.
You guys.
Hey, Alan. It's just a different language we speak over here.
Anyway, and do you know what it is? He doesn't like it when he's not hosting. He tries to shoehorn himself in again. That's what it is.
I try to insert myself into everything, don't I, Lee?
In any little nook and cranny.
No, I don't do grannies. That is one I cry.
Yeah, just move on.
There's a red line there. I don't cross that line.
Move on. Yeah, but anyways, if you guys look, I said guys again. You guys
You
like
said it again. See.
Give us a thumbs up. Leave a comment if you want to join this madhouse. I don't know why you will.
Please do.
Messages and
you can replace Jake.
We do movies, TV, audio dramas.
Sometimes we do each other.
And if you want to have a notification, ding the bell.
Oh my God.
And we do albums too, music. We do a lot of music.
We do music, yes, as well, yeah. If you want to be involved, just get in touch with us. And we're going to finish off now. This is where Jake comes into his element now.
Yeah.
'Cause you didn't know about this, did you, Jake? Say no. Say
He's going
no.
to do the full Monty.
No, he's not going to do the full Monty.
Oh, right. Okay. I thought...
Now,
I'm on the spot now. What did I do?
Jake is going to sing us out with the Doctor Who theme in the style of Syl.
Oh, brilliant.
No, I'm
That is
fucking
great.
not.
It would be interesting to hear.
You don't
Yeah,
pay
go on,
me
it'll
enough
be
to
really
do that.
interesting. This will be really... Come on, Jake.
No, thank you. Goodbye,
Alex, you
everyone. Enjoy your
And on that bum note, we will be leaving. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.